Filmmaking is a game of attrition. The longer you stay in the game, the higher your chances of success. But here's the problem. Making movies doesn't pay the bills when you're starting out. So how do you build a life that gives you long-term stability and the flexibility to create? For me, the answer was starting a video business. But it wasn't an obvious choice. In fact, with AI like Runway and Sora on the rise, many people think video production is doomed. So why did I do it? And more importantly, should you? Let's talk about it. Hello everyone, my name is Rahul Diman and I'm an engineer turned filmmaker. I want to use this video to kind of chat about how I'm building a video production business to essentially fuel my filmmaking career. I'm sure if you're watching this channel, many of you are aspiring filmmakers or entrepreneurs yourself. And as you probably know, creating a feature film on the low end of time takes about like a couple years. And that's being, that's on a pretty fast timeline. It can be even more than that. And so, a very common question, it's a very common question people ask about anyone who's a filmmaker in the film industry is, how are you sustaining yourself during these long periods of time, during these long life cycles of creative projects? This kind of goes to the stereotypical trope of the struggling artist in LA, waiting tables and all that stuff in between making their break. But, I truly believe that we are in an era now in 2025 where with the internet and just so much more opportunity out there, you can create a business or create some type of job or something along those lines to actually fuel your passion on the side, to buy you time and freedom to actually strongly pursue your film or whatever your creative passion is. And in this video, I wanted to chat how I thought and why I thought starting a video production company was the answer for me. So for some of you who may not know, I am an engineer turned filmmaker. I studied engineering, chemical engineering to be precise, and I graduated from UC Berkeley in 2021. I had a very stable engineering job for a few years since 2021. But while that job gave me a lot of financial stability, which was great, because in all my free time I would work on an independent film project or anything along those lines. At some point, it just was not flexible enough for me to take the next step, at least in my belief, in my filmmaking career. As a chemical engineer, my job was actually a battery engineer. I was very much in the lab. I had to go into person, in office, or in lab, I guess, 5 days a week, 8 to 6 p.m., something along those lines. And that just did not, grant me enough time to, one, work on what my next big, plan or my next big goal is a feature film, directing and producing a feature film. And additionally, it did not grant me the flexibility to travel for certain shoots or certain meetings that I really needed to do. And so, I thought to myself that in order to be successful in the filmmaking business, I've always believed that the game of filmmaking or entertainment is a game of attrition. Those who are able to somehow stay into the game longest and be consistent over a long period of time are the ones who end up winning. And so I really looked at my situation. I was like, how can I get a job or some source of income that is flexible, allows me location, time, independence to some degree, that'll free up my time and creativity to actually, write this feature script, get it distributed, get pre-production rolling, and all these kinds of things. To me, the answer was entrepreneurship of some kind, because I knew I wanted to be my own boss. If I needed to take a month off to film something, I would be able to do it. Ideally, I would have built or will build a business where if I do take some time off, the business does not stop. But even if it does, at least being your own boss, you have the right to do that. You just have to bear the financial consequences that come with it. So I was looking at my situation and I realized I do have video production skills, obviously through my filmmaking background, as well as experience in the engineering field, and specifically the deep tech type of field, which is really like robotics, AI, materials, defense, all those kinds of very hard tech, like hardware-based technologies that are built in the physical world. And I realized there was definitely a gap in the video production industry where there are a lot of these very deep tech companies who
didn't really have any great video production solutions because you needed someone who understood the tech in a technical manner, but also knew how to storytell and create a video that was engaging to investors or an audience or whoever their kind of target audience was. And so my mind was like, maybe this is the business I want to start. And so it seems a little bit like an obvious kind of answer. It's like, okay, let's just start a video production business in this space. And although that's what I did, it was not really an obvious answer. For those of you who may be thinking about starting a video production business, like, especially in 2025, it's not all like roses and daisies, right? Like, there's a lot of gloom out there, especially you go on Reddit and think about, should I start a video production business? You'll see a lot of negative comments, a lot of negative threads saying, don't do it. AI is coming, Sora, Runway, and all these kinds of things. While that is true to some degree, if you're smart about it, and I'm going to talk about how perhaps maybe you can find a niche or a structure of video production business that is flexible for you, you will be able to kind of sidetrack whatever trends in AI or market fluctuations happen. I think one thing to notice is there are certain video production businesses that will be taken by AI and some that will not. Event videography and things that rely on actually capturing real life events, by the nature of it, will not be taken by AI. Like no one wants an AI generated video of their wedding, or a company doesn't want an AI generated video of their conference that they're hosting, right? So if you kind of think in that lens, and also understand what is your personal edge, right? Like for me, my personal edge was that I studied 4 years of engineering and also worked as an engineer for a few years. So there was a certain domain in the deep tech space that I had. For you may have been a Division I athlete in college, and you're also like an aspiring filmmaker. Perhaps you somehow get into sports videography, right? Say you're a football player, you're filming, sports or something along those lines. Another thing you do want to take into account is whatever your niche is, like, do the clients that you'd be outreaching have purchasing power? So I think if you take all these factors into mind, think about a video production niche that is going to be kind of sheltered from any crazy trends in AI and all these other things, as well as clientele that has some purchasing power, and additionally something that you have an edge in that will position you to be like an expert in that field. Honestly, you only really need 2 out of these 3 things, but if you're able to get all 3 of them, honestly, I think that's a great way to kind of move forward. So to be honest, I've only really started my video production company less than a year ago. So I'm going to be completely honest. I don't have like even a full year's worth of success or stories to really tell you whether this is kind of the move to make. I will say that I have had enough success to sustain my lifestyle with the money coming in through the business, with the niche that I picked. And I think there are a lot of benefits, as I outlined. One is honestly, you're practicing the craft of filmmaking by shooting videos for clients and things along those lines. 2, the nature of the business is quite flexible where you can work from anywhere. Let's say you're working on some narrative project in LA and you need to be in New York like 2 weeks later. You can really do everything in this business, like a video business, besides the actual shoot, from literally anywhere. You can be like in a different country. So that is really, really nice when your goal is to be maybe a narrative filmmaker or something along those lines. It's totally going to be a lot of work to, especially in the first year, to find your first few clients and then scale from there and build a team and have it be something that is a sustainable growth mechanism. But I think that it is definitely worth a try if you're able to do high quality work, find a good niche, because at the end of the day, you want to build something that you can grow and just rely on yourself for. You don't need to be beholden to somebody else's schedule, because creating a feature film or a TV show or whatever it is, it's a lot of deep work that you must do every day that you don't get any short-term returns. And in the meantime, you want to be able to find a way to make money to be fulfilled in the short term as well. And this is what I am personally trying to do. In the comments, definitely let me know if you have had a similar type of experience or anything along those lines. Filmmaking is a game of attrition. So however you find a way, it doesn't have to even be starting a video business. It can be finding some remote software engineering job or something along those lines. As long as you find a way to stay in the game for as long as possible and do it in a consistent and sustainable manner, one day we'll make it.